Are you ignoring the impact of required minimum distributions on your retirement? If you've put money into an IRA, 401k, 403b, 457, SEP, or simple account, you will be forced to take money out in your future. And today we're going to talk about the what, when, and why of required minimum distributions. We're going to talk about the potential tax risks of ignoring them, how to help improve your plan, and then even if you don't need the money that they're forcing you to take out, what are some alternative options to do with it?
Welcome to the Your Life, Your Money podcast with Scott Searens, teaching you how to thrive in life, wealth, and retirement.
Welcome to the Retirement Show, all about your life, your money, and your taxes. I'm your host, Scott Searens, and my goal is to help you thrive in life, wealth, and retirement. Let me ask you, have you ever had a health issue that you ignored? Now, I am completely guilty of this. I'm not going to get into the details here, but I had a health issue in my feet, and you know what? I ignored it. I thought, it'd just go away. And what happened? Well, and this is what I'm sure you have seen as well, when you ignore health issues, and you ignore it, and you ignore it, does it go away or get worse? And guess what happened? Mine got a little bit worse, and then a little bit more worse, and then little bit more worse, to the fact then where it took a lot longer to correct what that particular, I'll call it, health issue was. And in all of this, if I would have just done some preventative measures, preventative steps, or if right when I saw this starting to take place, if I would have went to the doctor and taken those initial steps, I could have prevented all of it, right? The prolonging of it, how long it took to get it all fixed and everything like that. So why do I bring this up? Well, my question to you is, are you ignoring a health issue in your retirement savings? And what that issue is the impact of RMDs, required minimum distributions, on your retirement. Did you know that the government is going to force you to take money out of your retirement accounts as you get older? RMDs is required minimum distributions. And here's the thing, lots of people don't realize the potential impact that their required minimum distributions are going to have on them. Therefore, they're not properly planning for those RMDs. And the other part is that these RMDs can lead to unnecessary taxes. So in today's show, we're going to start with the what, the why, and the when of when it comes to RMDs, required minimum distributions. And then we're going to tackle the three common questions that we get about RMDs, the risk of you ignoring them, how can you improve your plan, and then if you don't need them, you don't need the money, what to do with it. So before we dive into all of that, I'm hoping that you're finding our show to be of value and benefit, or if you are a first-time listener, I highly recommend sign up for our weekly Insiders List. You can sign up for the Insiders List at lifemoneyshow.com. Again, that's lifemoneyshow.com. Once you get to the homepage there, you're going to scroll down a little bit. There's an area where you can just put in your name and your email address. And what that is, you're going to get a weekly email that's going to provide you with retirement tips, tax reduction strategies. What this means to you is it's going to help you understand if you're on the right path to retirement. It's going to help you understand how to reduce your long-term tax burden. It's going to help you understand how to keep more of your hard-earned money with you versus pay it to the IRS in taxes. Our latest weekly email, our latest wealth report that is part of our weekly email chain that went out is 7 things to know about Social Security before starting your benefits. Now, if you're somebody who's going to retire or in retirement and not yet taking Social Security, this would be a helpful article. So again, you can go to lifemoneyshow.com, you scroll down, sign up for the weekly Insiders List to get part of those weekly emails and things just like the latest wealth report that we sent out, 7 things to know about Social Security before starting your benefits. All right, back to talking about this health issue in our retirement, this health issue called required minimum distribution. So let's start with the what, the why, and the when. What are these? RMDs equal required minimum distributions, and what it is it is the forced income that the IRS, the government, is going to make you take from your retirement accounts. And when I say retirement accounts, a lot of times people can get that confused because there's lots of different account types out there that you might have saved in for retirement. But specifically for the RMDs, this would be your 401k, your IRA, SEP IRA, Simple IRA, 403b, or 457. These are the accounts that the IRS is going to force you to take money out of in your retirement. So if you've saved into any of these types of accounts, once you get into retirement, you will be forced, even if you said, well, I just want to take out what I want to take out. Nope. The government, the IRS, is going to force you to take money out of them. Why is that? Well, think about it this way. When you put money in, you actually got a tax deduction, whether you recognized it or not. So, for example, let's say you're making $100,000 a year. You put $20,000 into your 401k. And again, when I say 401k, I'm just using an example, but think about all those different account types that I gave you. You can just take 401k, replace it with SEP, replace it with Simple, 403b, 457, IRA. Hopefully you get the point here. So you make $100,000. You put $20,000 into your 401k. Well, basically they're saying at that point in time you had $100,000 of income. We subtract out that $20,000 that you put in your 401k, and it now says your taxable income for that year was $80,000. So you didn't get taxed on all 100 because you put $20,000 into your 401k. You only got taxed on 80. So what does that mean? Well, it actually means that you've taken $20,000 and you're just kicking that tax bucket down the road. You're taking that $20,000 right now, you're ignoring it, and you're just kicking it down the road. So back to why. So we've taken this $20,000. We said we're not paying tax on it today. We're going to kick the tax bucket down the road on this. We're just ignoring it right now. Well, back to why. And say you did this year after year after year after year, and now you've got $1 million, you've got $2 million, you've got $3 million where you just kicked the tax bucket down the road. So why do we have to take these RMDs? Well, let's just make it really simple. The government wants their tax dollars. You didn't pay any tax on this money yet, and the government wants their tax dollars on the money that you've saved for your retirement. And I get it. Some people just don't want to touch the account. It's there. They want to touch it when they want to, but they don't want to be forced to take money out of their account. However, if that was the case and everybody just did that, well, the government would never get their tax dollars on that money. So what did they do? They put a mandate that you have to take money out, and that's what's called RMDs, required minimum distributions. When do these required minimum distributions start? It doesn't start right when you retire. Well, it could, depending on the day and year that you retire, but it starts at specific ages. And at the end of last year, December 31st, they actually passed a new law, the Secure Act 2.0, which has updated the RMD ages. So let me just put it this way. I'm going to look at it. Let's look at it based on birth year. If you were born in 1950 or earlier, your RMD age was age 72, or 70 and a half for those who turned 70 and a half prior to 2020. Now, if you were born in 1951 to 1959, your RMD age, the age where these required distributions, the forced income has to start, is age 73. And if you were born in 1960 or later, then your RMD age, the age where these required distributions has to start, is age 75. And again, Congress could change all of these rules in the future, so make sure that you're talking to your financial professional in regards to what is the required minimum distribution age for you. So back to our example here of the person making $100,000. They put that $20,000 into the 401k. Basically, they took that $20,000 and said, I'm going to ignore you right now. I'm going to ignore you from a tax standpoint. And then they did the same thing year after year after year. Then it became $1 million. Now it becomes $2 million. Now it becomes $3 million. And that's in any of those scenarios. And maybe it's that's when it becomes the tax problem. That's when it becomes a potential tax problem, a potential tax issue because of that forced income. So that's the what, the why, and the when. Now let's talk about why it becomes a potential tax issue. I want to go through those 3 common questions that we get about RMDs to help you understand the risk, help you understand the changes that you can make, and then even if you don't need it, what you can do about it. So common question number one is, what are the risks if I don't plan in advance for taking the RMDs? What are those risks? Well, think about it this way. When you're working for a company, you have a paycheck that comes in. You're going to get taxed on that wage income that you have coming in. And a lot of times people think, well, great. Once I get to retirement, I no longer have that company paycheck coming in, so my taxes are going to go down in retirement. Hold on. Put on the brakes. Maybe not. Here's the thing. Your retirement savings, that 401k, that 403b, that 457, that IRA, that bucket of money that you've been kicking the tax bucket, right? You've just been kicking it kind of down the road. Oh, not going to pay this year. Nope, not going to pay this year. Nope, not going to pay this year. I'll just wait till I get into retirement. That retirement savings now essentially becomes your new company. And the withdrawals that you're going to be taking out of that, well, those withdrawals become your new retirement paycheck. And those paychecks, because they're in that bucket that you've just been kicking the taxes down the road, haven't paid them yet, well, that paycheck is going to get taxed. And here's why required distributions could become an issue, a potential issue in your future. You see, all of that withdrawals that come out of there is taxable income. And so you have to then look at, well, these required distributions create more taxable income for you in your future than where you're at today, that company paycheck that you have coming in today. The other thing you have to ask yourself is, what will tax rates be in the future versus where they're at today? And a lot of times people think, well, I'll just take out what I want, I'll just kind of manage it that way, and therefore I can kind of manage my taxes and maybe keep my tax rates lower in the future. And all of that works potentially until you turn the age where you have to start taking out required distributions. For some people, that might have been 70 and a half or 72. For some people, that's age 73. For some people, that's age 75. Let me just explain the impact that these required minimum distributions make. Remember, forced income you have to take out of your account. So let's say you're age 75 and you've saved $1 million into an IRA, 401k, or any of those other qualified retirement plans. At age 75 with $1 million, you're going to be forced to take $40,651 out of your accounts. Now, that's based on this year, 2023. These can all change in the future. Make sure you talk with your financial professional as they will help you with your required distributions, or the custodian where you've got your money. So hopefully that's a little disclaimer there, and then I'm going to go through the numbers. As you know, they're rounded up, and to make sure you check based on the year that you're taking RMDs. Okay, so here we go. Age 75, you got $1 million saved up. Well, $40,651 out of your account. Let's say you've got $2 million saved up. You're going to be forced to take $81,301 out of your account. Let's say you have $3 million saved up. At age 75, you're going to be forced to take $121,951 out of your accounts. Forced income. All of those amounts that I just said, you're going to be required to pay income tax on those dollars. So first off, then you have to start asking yourself, is that, and then you have to add into it, do you have a pension? Add that in there. Do you have rental income? Add that in there. Do you have Social Security? Add that in there. As you can see, as you start adding all of these different dollars up, next thing you know, you could be putting yourself with retirement paychecks. Your retirement paychecks could be putting you in a higher taxable income in your future than where you're actually at today. If you're a really good saver and all you did was save into those qualified accounts, you could be putting yourself into a higher taxable income in your future than you were today, which then creates that issue, right? Because If it's higher taxable income in your future than where you're at today, well then saving money on taxes today, basically kicking that bucket down the road, means that you've actually just cost yourself more in taxes. Let's just go through some more examples here, because a lot of people think, oh, well then, is that what I have to take? Is it just a flat amount throughout the retirement, that forced income, those numbers that I gave? For instance, age 75 with $3 million, $121,951 in forced income. Is that going to stay the same throughout my retirement? And the answer is actually no. Each and every year, the rate, meaning the percentage amount that you have to take out of your accounts, actually goes up. So if you're getting any sort of growth in your account, then the amount over time will go up. But let's just say the growth that you're getting in your accounts is just holding your accounts, for lack of better terms, flat. And now you're age 85. So let's just go through this. At age 85, you got $1 million in your account. That's forced income of $62,500. Remember, at 75, 1 million was $40,651. You see how it goes up? Age 85, $2 million in your account. That's a required distribution of $125,000. At age 75, it was $81,000. Again, see how it went up? Last one here, age 85, you've got $3 million in your account. That's a forced distribution of $187,500 that you're going to have to take out. At age 75, that was a forced distribution of $121,951. Again, went up. You see, so you have to think about not only age 75, but age 76, into your 80s, into your 90s. The amounts and the rates will continue to go up. And then you add in your pension, you add in your Social Security, you add in rental income, all the retirement paychecks that you have coming in. Is that going to put you in a higher taxable income in your future than where it is today? And that's the risks of RMDs. The risk of RMDs is that the forced income that the government's going to make you take can put you in a higher taxable income in your future than where you're at today. The other risk is that if you are a couple and you've saved a healthy amount into these retirement plans, a couple and a single, let's just say we have a couple on one side of your piece of paper and a single on the other side of your piece of paper, and they're making the same amount of income. The couple is taxed at a lower rate than the single. Or to say this in reverse, leaving your spouse, one person will pass away at some point in time, leaving your spouse with all those IRAs, 401ks, and qualified retirement plans is basically putting your spouse in a higher tax bracket, leaving more potential money to the IRS. Okay, so is there anything I can do to avoid having to take these RMDs at all? And I'll say word avoid is very questionable. Can you reduce them? Absolutely. You could potentially reduce them if you're planning in advance. And this is where tax planning comes in. And you might be thinking, well, wait a second, we're in tax season right now. I have a tax preparer. He does a great job, but why isn't he talking to me about required minimum distributions? Well, here's the thing, and there are a ton of great tax preparers out there. They do a great job, but their focus for you is the past. And I don't blame them for not being able to see and help you with the required minimum distribution issue, is because they don't have access to the entire amount that you have in retirement savings. They don't know how much required minimum distributions you're going to be having to take out in the future. So a tax preparer is like a historian. They're focused on the prior year, what happened in the past. What you really need to be focused on to help reduce or potentially avoid RMDs is tax planning and tax projecting, which is then focused on your future, not just 1 year in the future, but your entire future. And so how could you potentially, I don't want to say avoid them, but reduce them? Let's say you're someone who is still working. A few things to think about is tax diversification, meaning saving some money into your brokerage account, which is considered taxable account, saving money into those IRAs, 401ks, those tax-deferred accounts, but then also maybe saving some money into your tax-free account. And a lot of times what you can do to help reduce these is by diversifying where you save. You can build up a very healthy brokerage account while you're getting this tax deduction in the IRAs and 401ks, and then you can retire before these RMD ages and then live off the brokerage account, keep your taxes to a minimum, and start converting money from your tax deferred account over to your tax-free account. Again, everybody's picture is unique and different. You definitely, when you start talking about Roth conversions, that's where you pay tax today, pay tax at rates today to convert it over to the tax-free bucket for tax-free growth, tax-free future withdrawals. But that's where you really want to make sure you're sitting down with a financial professional as well as a tax professional to make sure that there's a plan in place that's specific to you. Now, if you're retired, what can you do? I don't want to say if you're retired that you could fully avoid them, but what can you do to reduce them? And a few things there is that you could start doing the Roth conversions that we were just talking about, or you could also look at qualified charitable distributions where you're giving directly from your IRA, 401k to a charity. And when you do that, you don't pay tax on that money that's given directly to the charity. Here's the thing, though. If you do have required minimum distributions, make sure that you're taking them at your RMD ages, because if you don't, there is a penalty for failing to take your RMDs, which leads us to the third question. Hey, if I don't need the RMD money for income, what should I do with it? Well, as I just mentioned, make sure you take it out. That's the first part. That's really, really important. Make sure to take it out because we don't want you to get the penalty. Now, a few different things that you could do with it. Let's say you take the money out. You can just reinvest it. I've had, some clients that are doing that. They're taking out their required distributions. They don't need it right now. They want it to grow for their future, so we take it out. And then they just reinvest it into their joint account, their brokerage account, their taxable account. Another thing that you could do is you take it out. Maybe you don't want it as part of your taxable estate. So something that you could do is you could gift it. You could gift it to a charity. You could gift it to your children. You could gift it to your grandchildren. You could put it into their 529 plans. So there's things that you can do with it as well. But you have to still take it out, right? Now, I said gift to the charity. However, there's a better way to do that. If you don't need the money and you want to give to a charity and you're over age 70 and a half, then you should use the qualified charitable distribution strategy where you're giving directly to the charity. I'm sure you're seeing here there is a lot going on with required minimum distributions. I'll call it that health issue of your retirement plan, that if you don't do anything about it and you just ignore it and kick that bucket, right, for another year and ignore it again, kick the bucket down the path for another year and then ignore it again and kick that bucket down the path for another year. Next thing you know is you might have this major health issue that's really tough to overcome in retirement, meaning you've got this potential tax issue that is tough to overcome if you wait all the way to retirement. However, if we catch it early on, if we start early on, we put those preventative measures in place, we start utilizing tax diversification, we start building up your brokerage account, we start reassessing and putting your money into different locations, maybe you can prevent it. Just giving you a quick story here of a couple that I met and that are now clients. And when we first met, they were putting all of their retirement savings into their 401ks, fully building up those 401ks. They had built up multiple millions into those 401k accounts. As we sat down, what we did, as we have talked through these steps here, is one of the things that we first did is we put together a tax plan and tax projection for them. We did a projection. Now, projections are just that. They're projections, they're estimates of, based on a certain amount of growth, what would their required minimum distributions look at age 75, at age 80, at age 85, when we actually did it for each and every year of their life. And as we looked at this, we were finding that those required distributions would put them at a higher taxable income in their future than where they were at today. What did that mean? Well, by saving into their 401ks, taking that tax deduction today, ignoring that money, ignoring taxes on that money today, they're actually putting themselves in a position where they're going to pay more taxes on that money in their future. So they weren't getting a tax savings. Even though they felt like it, they weren't getting that tax savings because they were just pushing it down the road where they're going to pay more on taxes, potentially pay more on taxes in it in their future. So first off was recognizing the issue. Okay. Second part, we're going to stop kicking the tax bucket down the road. So the second part is we start fixing the health issue. We started saving, reassessing where they're saving their money to, saving then into their brokerage account, saving into their Roth 401ks. We reposition where they're saving their money into according to their tax projection. And then the third part is each and every year we are assessing to see if they should do some Roth conversions, paying money, paying taxes on those dollars today and getting them over into their tax-free bucket. So that's just one story. We also have clients that are already retired and they have lots of money saved into their IRAs. What we're doing with them, and they're of RMD ages, so they're like, wait a second, I have to take this money out. Yes, however, one couple that's retired, they've got a healthy amount saved in their IRAs. If one of the spouses passes away, it'll put their remaining spouse in a higher tax bracket. So we are assessing each and every year, after they take the required minimum distributions, how much money can we do in Roth conversions up to a certain tax bracket line without going over to get money into that tax-free bucket. Again, everyone's situation is unique, specific to them. So make sure that you're working with a financial professional and tax professional to help you reduce the troubles that the RMDs might cause in your future, which are typically tax troubles. If you're wondering who to speak to, feel free. Again, this is a potential issue that could be causing you more in taxes in your future. And if you're wondering who to talk to, this is something that we help clients with each and every day. And you can reach out to us. You can go to lifemoneyshow.com, click on the Work With Us tab or the Work With Me tab, lifemoneyshow.com, Work With Me. And we're just going to start with a 20-minute phone call to see and understand what's on your mind and if our processes and services can help you, can help your required minimum distribution situation, and help keep more of your hard-earned retirement savings in your pocket versus going to the IRS. So again, that's lifemoneyshow.com. Click on the Work With Me tab, and you can set up. Just all starts with a 20-minute phone call. Hey, hopefully you've enjoyed today's show. You found it to be of value and benefit. And if so, go to lifemoneyshow.com. Sign up for our weekly email that's going to provide you with retirement tips, tax reduction strategies, as well as Social Security strategies. That was my example that I gave earlier. Our emails are going to help you understand if you're on the right path to retirement. They're going to help you understand how to keep more of your hard-earned money with you versus give it to the IRS. They're going to help you understand how to live and retire with confidence. Our latest wealth report was 7 things to know about Social Security before starting your benefits, and we've got great new stuff coming out each and every week and each and every month. So that's lifemoneyshow.com. You're going to scroll down, put in your name, your email, sign up for the insiders list so you can start getting all of that extremely helpful information. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's show. Subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and I look forward to our next conversation of helping you enjoy life today and being financially confident about your tomorrow.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM and Searns Financial Group, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Searns Financial Management, Inc. Searns Financial Group, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Searns Financial Management, Inc. are not subject to investment advisor requirements. AEWM and Searns Financial Group, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Searns Financial Group, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Searns Financial Group, Inc. Bond obligations are subject to the financial strength of the bond issuer and its ability to pay. Before investing, consult your financial advisor to understand the risk involved with purchasing bonds.